So got it.
So now we're going live on YouTube, and that was a good. I wish I had recorded that. That was something very, very good to bring to the forefront. I forgot about that. There's so much information on the website, but yeah, our people left, and there's no such thing as the Middle East. First of all, they'll
Mm-hmm.
never have peace in the Middle East. That's something that they made up around the time of the corporations. When the status of a corporation was developed, they did the same thing and created an area for them to be in, and they called it the Middle East because the way they took the land was by changing the maps. So that is in no way, shape, or form, according to geography, the Middle East. But you know, that's what they call it. So he's really saying
To
that
piggy,
the cradle of Africa, they left, they left the cradle of Africa black, and then the rulers came back white. Ashe, I yield. Go ahead, Jimmy. Expound on that. What you thought about that when you saw that?
When I saw that, that made me think they they did so much more to us. They played mind games with us. They killed us, and they just brutally took over everything that we owned, including our lands. It's just it was a little troubling for me actually reading that. It kind of made me feel a little slightly uncomfortable. And that made me say, it's time to step back into our rightful status and just to gain back our identity.
which you are 100% correct. We doing that now. You're trying to come in and correct your status, um, which is a good thing. They can't stop this movement. They can't. They can try, but they're not gonna be successful. We of the Cherokee Nation of Moors, um, we've been here. Our ancestors been here. We come from them. That's why we are here. The whole landmass of what they call America to Island. They broke it down in three pieces: North, Central, and South, and the adjoining islands. What they call Africa, those are kinfolk over there as well. Australia, at every place on this on these continents that they dig up, they always find who? So-called black people. That's why they called it a black planet. We are the original people of Earth. We are autochthonous. We are aboriginals. We are the mother and fathers of civilization. And you were right. The Jews left so-called black and they came back white. The imposters came, the Ashkenazis and stuff like that. And I forgot, I don't know if it was Saddam Hussein who had mentioned that, but he's right. That's why Hitler was killing off these so-called fake Jews. They want the real people. We are in the Bible, we are everything that life is made up of. Every mineral, every DNA strand is all us. We are nature. We are gods. We are creators. We are everything. And then, Some people hate that. Some people who don't look like us, they hate that. You know. But you know, the reason that I put you on to the website, because you know we had conversations, and I was like, you know what, this brother will make a good fit for the tribe because he's smart, he's out there, you know, with his knowledge of what he has, you know, and he speaks his mind, and he's on the same page like everybody else. So that's a good thing. Everyone is not going to be hip to this type of knowledge, this type of talk, you know, this type of road to reclaiming back our land. I yield.
Islam. I just wanted to definitely speak up because I love the mentioning of, like, you know, Africa and Egypt and all these places. Just wanted to take a different type of spin on it, and just being able to mention, you know, when I think of Africa and Egypt and all these ways and names, it always reminds me of like a state of consciousness, you know, like I know Noble Drew Ali teaches, and in some of his writings, it speaks about returning back to the state of consciousness, you know, having the kingdom in your head where Egypt is the head, you know? So with all of these pushings of being these labels and these titles, you know, I just see it as it being a slap back into our face of, you know, hey, you know, yes, your literature may say, you know, Egypt is the head and Africa is more of a state of mind. It's a consciousness. You know, you had Marcus Garvey wanting to return us back to Africa and take us back there. And where you have other prophets that's come in and said, you know, actually, that's a state of mind. You know, we have to return to that state of mind. And through us being able to step back into our nationality, step back into being alive again from a civil little mortus title and brand of property, we're able to step back into our essence and being able to get back to, you know, the Africa that I see as being a state of consciousness, you know, going back to the kingdom that's in our head, going back to the kingdom that our mind controls and our body shall follow. So I actually was reading into that earlier, and that was the message I got from that reading. And I just appreciate how it all flows into, you know, what you guys are speaking in today. And I did not want to hold that in. And I yield the floor.
Well, guess what? I got some good news. You're standing on Africa, or what they call Africa. You know what I'm saying? This is one big old landmass of ancient people all over. You know, we are we are the original. You know what that means to be an original? You know, how many people hate us for what the Most High creation has done? They would try to do every and anything. You know, there's a verse in Deuteronomy, I believe it's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God." The word holy means to separate. So he separated a nation of people. Why? You know, there's a reason for that. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we are a special people. Melanated people are special. We are here to stay. They don't understand that. And they're, you know, these people are wicked. These so-called Europeans, they're wicked. Every last one, wicked. Man, woman, and child. That's just their DNA. They can't help it. That's how they created. You ever heard that song by the OJs? They smile in your face. That's what they do. They smile in your face. They try to get information on you to turn it against you. They're not our friends. They are our enemies. They're not aborigines. They're not indigenous anywhere on this planet. We are the creators. We own the land. We are the original landlords. All this stuff has been passed down to us from generations to generations to generations, from ancient times until now. If they're scared, they are scared because they're trying to figure out, well, if they get it back, or when they get it back, what are we going to do? Well, no one gave you permission to come over here in the first place. No one told y'all to come over here, rape, rob, and murder. Yeah, I didn't come over here peacefully to hey, shake hands and hey, can we build? Can we have, can we have some of your land? So, there's going to be a time that, everything's going to be where it's supposed to be at. All the puzzles are going to be put together. And it's going to be what it is. I yield.
Matriarch, what do you have to add? Well, it's definitely going to be, we're in the times right now where everything is getting put in order and turned back around. This is the new order that, everybody has been talking about that was supposed to start in 2012. We're a little late 10 years, but it's happening now. So all of the pieces to the puzzle are coming together. We're definitely in the time of revelation where things are being revealed. Answers to questions we don't even know we have are coming. I know they are for me. So we are the ones that have to, turn the ship around and get everything set for the star seeds that are coming to rule again. So it's definitely a lot to pieces of the puzzle that I have been given through my time of revelation in the last year. Is it's a lot. It's a lot that happened. It's a lot that had still been hidden from us as far as the empire that was here and the status that it still holds around the world. These people have been imposters who had the help of the Black nobility families and some of the family members of the empire who assisted in changing things to their benefit and overturning the empire, whose duty it is and was to keep the heirs of the land safe and secure in their land. So you had the tribes and you had the imperial rulers who were all Asiatics, so they didn't step on the tribes. They had tributary powers. So all of these things are coming back into the light the way it was. So that's basically what I'm doing right now, bringing everything back in order as it is being given to me from the Akash. And it's just an amazing thing that our lives have been turned upside down because of all of this, because we were ransacked, and because my great aunt Victoria Maxima, Some went by, the older ones went by Maximus, the younger ones Maxima, just because I think they did a slight variation to show that it had been a change in the era, but it's still the same, name. Means the same thing, maximum ruler. So things backfired on her. It was her and several other members of the imperial family line who worked together to overthrow the empire because they were greedy and wanted more power, and they didn't like the fact that the custodianship was given to Moses. The custodianship was given to Moses and his family line because Moses had proven that he was worthy of such. So all those that came through his loin, that's where the custodianship followed. The family didn't like that. And they didn't like that they had to go by his rules, whatever he said. So then, here's Saturn providing that energy, and Victoria Maxima, I'm talking the imperial side now, what they consider the imperial first family. And Victoria Maxima, she played into the time they were in. She played her hand to, well, almost to the T, because things began to backfire on her. But Victoria Maxima, she was a fallen angel. She was a fallen angel. So when they talk about the ancestors revealed to me what that means. They told me this some years back, but I didn't really understand, because they have put so much spook tale, ghost spell, rhetoric in our minds that we can't really distinguish what's a fable and what's actually the actual truth. So this is what has been revealed to me. When the ancestors gave this to me and they said, Victoria Maxima was a fallen angel. This meant that it was her time to go back up to the stars. It was her time to go back and govern the planet that we're from. The family line is from. And she didn't want to do that. So she wanted to stay down here on Earth. We came down in balls of light. Last week we talked about the nomos. We came into the water first. We came into the waters of Mesopotamia. And that's where the nomos still are. They stayed in the water. Some of us went on top of the earth, and some of us went in the core earth. So that's where you get the Anunnaki. They went to the core earth. And those of us some of us stayed on top, and then the Nomos stayed in the water. So this was all done by pure consciousness. So we came down in balls of light from our pure consciousness. So this is where they get the terms Illuminati from, the enlightened ones, the illuminated ones. So that's why I kind of get upset, because our people giving these people so much credit that is not there. Stop giving these people your energy. That is your lineage is not theirs. These people don't have a cosmic connection to anything. You know, those that have taken our knowledge and information and intellectual property from the ancient ones, these are thieves who can't even really access that information the way we can. That's why they kept it hidden from us, because they know the powers we have. Just like the Anunnakis flying around in ships and stuff, we had many ships too. We was doing that already. We supposed to be flying like them and little flying saucers and stuff like that. But we have been dumbed down because of this RH negative, this beast that came out of the cave and took over everything. It had to, and I'm gonna say it again, we had to go through their evolution. That was not our evolution. If you go back and study some of the texts and the stories and everything, you will see that the ruling class, they would get on there. They used to call it flying carpet, but it was a mini disc that they would go from state to state, wherever they wanted to go, flying in the air, but they would put carpet on top of that. That was a flying saucer. And they talk about these stories like they're just so mystical and this and that and other. No, we had that technology. They tore everything down. How were they so advanced? They say, how were they so advanced at such a time like that? You know, it really upsets me. I'm not gonna really go into that, but this is what happened. As far as the ruling class, and America was always the seat of power. We was always, it was always here. America was always the seat of power for 45,000 years. The empire that I resurrected and the lineage that I've come to realize is my family line. And the story that Empress Radiosity Washington found in the Library of Congress is my family story. It's not hers. That's not, and there is no Dogdemania here in America. The empire and information that she found was talking about my family line, and they were talking about how I would be the one to bring the land back to the people, which is the same thing it says in the prophecy that I got. Now, I'm not downing her because the ancestors use different ones to bring us back the information and wake us up, but that's all they're used for. Ancestors told me they set it up that way so that we can find the information. Just like one of my cousins in Japan contacted me recently. He emailed me all this stuff, and he's talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all this stuff in Japan. He's in Japan, dark skin and everything. And the ancestor said he is in the Imperial Royal lineage. See, this is the spell, I want to say spell, or this is the invocation that the ancestors left out into the universe for us to find. So we attach to the closest thing to our cosmic connection and our DNA that we can relate to, because everything is vibration. So whatever we're vibrating within ourselves, we're going to be attracted to and attached to that. So they put that information out there to the extent that they could at the time so that we would find it. They couldn't do too much regarding the empire because they will reveal themselves, and everybody was in hiding at that time. They couldn't talk about the empire no more because you had Ku Klux Klan and Knights Templar and Knights Columbus, all of these small armies going around killing people. If they said anything about the empire, or if they tried to make a claim as the heir of the empire or heir, so it had to be hush hush. And, so Prophet Noble Drew Ali did his part in bringing us back to and keeping that vibration going as far as who we are as a nationality of people, nationality of Asiatics. He was into mysticism. He knew the power of, rituals and things like that because he was taught. He was taught by Empress America Maxima. He was her student. Empress America Maxima. She wrote a book called Sorcerer's Apprentice, and she is the one who sponsored him going around the world doing diplomatic things for the empire, grooming him. And back then, when the empire was in full fruition, you took the throne at age 15. She was age 15 when she took the throne, with her parents as at her, aid and assistance. She had to, do the daily functions of running the empire. And that's just the way it is. So they started them early. And Victoria Maxima, the namesake of the Victorian government in Australia, she set up everything. She set up the Federal Reserve and all the things that you see today and put together the new monetary system. They did not have knowledge of how to do any of that. All of that was set up by one of the imperial family members. Victoria Maxima was sister to Empress America Maxima. So everything that we see and we grew up with was set in place by a ruling class, but they were in the background. She ran everything from Australia, all the monetary systems and everything from the Victorian government is attached to America and the New York Stock Exchange. All of these things I've come to know in the last year. All of that is my family's intellectual property that she created. So all those that think they may have a claim somewhere, they don't have any claims. The Black nobility families, they don't have any claims because they did not create anything. The knowledge and the wherewithal on how to sustain economy and create monetary systems, create the law came from my family line. Empress America Maxima, the Maxima family. That's why they, named themselves Maxima. Those are maximum rulers, the most high ruler of the land, coming from the Tahuti family line. So all of these other Black nobility families that's ruling in the background, the Federal Reserve, and put J.P. Morgan up and all of these pale faces up because they knew they couldn't come to the forefront doing everything in secret because they the ones who overturned the empire. They gonna try to make it look like it was the pale faces that did it. So people wouldn't, uprise and the other people, other ruling class in the other parts of the world wouldn't come down on them. So they kept it in secret what they did and put these pale faces out of the cave up in royal seats. That's the biggest disgrace I ever seen in my life. Knowing what I know. It's ridiculous. But they did this because they knew they couldn't put their face on nothing. It's not their lineage to rule. The lineage that it was passed down to was the Moses line. So the Bible is talking to or speaking of all that they did not change, is speaking of the first family of Tahuti, which they went through the Bible and took all, that name out of it. And they tried to say in some of the versions that Moses didn't exist. Now I know why. They wanted to erase all remnants of the first family and the ruling class. Okay. And then stepped and walked in our shoes. These people at the White House talking about the first family. This is where they get it from. The first family. That's Tahuti. And so it's very interesting how this all played out and how these people really thought they was gonna dupe us forever. But I'm saying, the time of revelation reveals all things. That's why that book is so important, the book of Revelations, because it's really speaking what's happening right now, and it's giving us instructions for those of us who know how to read it and read between the lines and go through. I just read what I'm instructed to read. I'm not a big Bible buff. I never have been. I don't read a lot. I feel my way through the spirit realm a lot of times, and then it gets confirmed. Some people find it hard to do that, but I find it more comfortable for me to do that. I can't. I'm just atypical. I can't follow and move to the beat of somebody else's drum. I have to wait until I feel it and it feels right. So anyway, these are all the things that are coming back, and how it happened, who it happened, who was involved, who was the players involved, who what families and who had control or custodianship, everything. Boy, this is what I learned this week, and I'm just sharing with you all my revelations and the things that I'm going through in my own personal journey and dealing with the knowledge of bringing this empire, bringing my ancestors' empire back. So the whole thing this week, the lesson that they gave me was that everything. So like if you watch my story or follow me any amount of time, you know that I'm into the law, and it comes very easy to me. So they told me that this is why I was groomed by them. Everything that I've been through has been the ancestors and the spirit realm universe molding me to this point. Having put myself through years of study in law, international law, and finding that I already knew a lot of stuff, and then I would just go and confirm it, find the statute of it. That's the amazing part to me now that I, sit back and think about it, is just something that came natural. So the law was written from that family line. So a lot of the law and what's in the Bible is things that I guess is in my DNA. You know how you go and you'll pick up a book and go straight to a lot that happens to a lot of us that's on this journey, because like I said, we're reincarnations of ourselves over and over again. So this week, the lesson I got was that everything is law and contracts and agreements, even in the spirit realm. Wow, that was so powerful to me. Even in the spirit realm is laws and contracts. So I hadn't agreed to my contract with my ancestors yet. That's something they told me. I had to let them know that I agree to, the duties and responsibilities of being a custodian and walking in their shoes and picking up the baton. That's something I had never done. And I was like, wow. And also, the contracts that were given and the agreements that were given to these churches and these synagogues and these priests and priestesses that began, the Orthodox religions around the world. Those were contracts and agreements given to them by Victoria Maximum. So when they pray into the Black Madonna and they're praying to our deities, that was under agreement. That was under a contract that they've been breaching. They've been breaching all the contracts that they ever made with us. So they told me I had to, I have to be the one to revoke it. And that's what's going to change things, because we've been under a spell. And it's that simple, and every time they reveal something to me, I'll be like, that is so simple. I should have been thought of that. Why didn't I think of that already? But because we get so caught up in ourselves, and I have to remember that, God is simple. Things of the spirit realm are so simple. Like, you can have a 1-page affidavit to shut the whole court down. You don't really need to have give them 1-page affidavit, and if it says the right things, the pertinent information, that it'll shut the whole court down. It'll shut the whole state organization down, whoever you're dealing with. You just have to know the keys to unlock these doors. That's the knowledge is the key. And that is true. That statement is so true. The knowledge is the key. The knowledge opens all doors. So they revealed to me the situation with what we're dealing with. The Knights, all of these Scottish Rites, all these organizations, Fraternal Orders, Scottish Rite, Freemasons, and all these other groups that's on the land. They had contracts. They had contracts with the empire that they have breached, egregiously breaching them. Now you had contracts with my ancestors, and yet you come against me every day trying to take my life. And now you coming for my son, trying to take his life or do your mind control sorcery on him. These are all federal agents, and they recruiting these federal agents at a young, early age, teaching them how to be wicked early. This is why they gotta go. And so if somebody in their teens and early 20s come and work for a big organization like that, they think they doing good. They think they doing right. They don't know the difference. Once you teach them to be wicked, they think that's the way to go. And you telling them you a governmental organization, these people, it's just ridiculous. They're wicked because they started out wicked. The Jesuit priesthood was a wicked organization. And that's who they all under. They all fall under them. The Knights of Columbus and Knights Templar came to America late 1600s, early 1700s of the Gregorian calendar, but they came to work for the empire and support and serve and protect the empire. And they were never supposed to come against the heirs of the land. But what did they do? What do they do right now? These are the Ku Klux Klan, Knights Templar, all of that's one and the same. They did the total opposite. So they flipped the script. This is where, it got ugly. Victoria Maxima, it backfired on her. She took them out of the cave, taught them everything they knew. Then they turned on her and went on a ziggity boom. Came to America and never looked back and ravished everything they put their hands on. Just like the animals they are. They came out the cave. They called them cave dogs. They had to come out and go to work and go back to the cave. I'm only telling the truth. I don't know how to do nothing else but that. I ain't here to sugarcoat nothing or be politically correct. I'm just say that. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. This is what happened, and this is what the real deal is. It's the story. This is it. They were supposed to come out the cave, do their work, and go back to the cave. She pulls them out of the cave, devise a plan for them to create an army for her and the Farneses of Rame, her cousins. They wanted the power. She took out her own family, but then it backfired on her and her they got too much power. Once she taught them how to do all of these, this knowledge. Okay, today's show, we're going to talk about, this is a show about mind control. Just look at the movie Men in Black. Everything I'm talking about is stuff I'm dealing with in my own life right now. Every time I come on here and express something to y'all, I'm dealing with that. I don't ever talk about things that I've never done myself or ever dealt with myself. That is the difference between me and a lot of other people that come out and, talk. I don't just talk. I talk, I create, I uplift humanity through my life experience. This is what it's for. This is why I accept the challenge of all the things I've had to go through, because I know that it is for a purpose. It's for me to have to go through it first so that you don't. It's the same story of Moses. The more I'm coming into myself and coming into the prophecy that I was given, I see it now. I see exactly what it is. So everything that happened in that family line, but I got it worse, they told me. Nobody had it as worse as me. Nobody. Because I had more work to do. I had more things to correct and bring back. It was not this bad during their times. We went all the way left. We got 127 years to make up for, where we never had that before. We never fell from grace. And in any time in the 700 million years the Tahuti family line been on this planet, we never seen a time like this wickedness that we see right now. Never. That's why they got caught off guard. As powerful as they are and as they were, they never saw that coming. They never saw it coming. not to the extent that it got. And Victoria Maxima, she was a beast. She was a beast, as smart as ever, and she was able to take the knowledge that she gained, and she had them steal from King David Solomon Tahuti. And I want to correct something that I said in the past, that King Solomon wrote the Bible. There was two King Solomons. One was, he had Solomon in his name. King David Solomon Tahuti. He's the one that wrote the Bible. They called him King David, so he didn't really use Solomon because it was two Solomons during his time, his cousin in Kemet and him in America. Everything they talking about happened in America. Jerusalem is Virginia. But during their quest to deceive, they changed and moved those places. If anybody ever, I guess this was their sentiment, if anybody ever found any information or maps regarding these places, Jerusalem, all of the places that they moved on the map and put them in Africa and different parts of the world. That's what their aim was, to confuse us. If they think they're from Jerusalem, if they see that again, they'll think it's from over there. No, all of it happened here. There's a map floating around of the Jerusalem, the way they spelled it was with a G. So this is one of the clues that Uncle King David Solomon Tahuti left behind. He said, when you see the J, you know the imposter was there. There's certain things that he did purposely, so those of us who are in that family line will know. Just like when you look at the scripture that I was given not too long ago after meditating and praying, now that I know their names, I can get information from them. And, at least pray to them, talk to them, and then wait to hear the answer, or wait to be inspired to do something. And then I know it's from them. So after, doing that, and I was led to that Revelation 3 and 9, 3, 6 through 9, I believe it is. The fake Jews that say they're Jews, but they are not. We know that no fake Jew is going to write that about themselves. They're not going to do that. So the way I feel it is that it was so much happening and so much going on during that time that he was trying to put everything he could put in there to leave the clues before they came, because he knew they was coming. He knew they was coming. They came. They took all his knowledge and information and the holy books and literature and everything, and they killed him and stole everything. All of that's family heirlooms. All of that literature, all of the intellectual property, that's family heirlooms they stole that they got to give back. It didn't belong to them. So that's what I'm for. I'm here for. I'm retrieving everything. It ain't gonna be no stone left unturned. And whatever they thought they had is reverting back to the time, the day before you stole it. And that's what I've been saying in my prayers. That's what the ancestors and the Anunnaki is giving me these insights on. You have the power to change things. You have the power to create anew. You have to be the one to get things back into order. So that's what I've been doing in my prayers and in my invocations and my rituals, speaking to the sun, putting them in the fire. However, we do our thing. They said you need to correct everything and break the spells off of all of humanity that was put over us by the Jesuit priesthood and those that stole our inheritance because they hid the knowledge from us. So now that we getting it back through the cosmos, through the stars, through the moon, through the sun, it's coming back to us anyway. But it's been major spells put on our people to the degree of clouding our minds, to the degree of mind control. They took the knowledge that they gained and started using it to come against us. And that was a breach of contract. When Victoria Maxima gave them the charter to taught them how to use our deities and the Black Madonna to pray, to get power. That's a contract attached to that they breached. So the ancestors told me, you have to break that to strip the power from them. They shouldn't have this much power over us. But they've been having our power because they're using our energy, our own energy and deities against us. I said, wow. It's so simple if you think about it. But this is how they gain power, because I'm going through these challenges with, these different energies coming from me and my son. And I'm saying, ancestors, how can these people have this much power over and be able to manipulate my son like this? I know who we are. How did they get to this? How are they doing this? And they showed it to me. So if they in violation of a contract, revoke the contract. That's what they taught me this week. And it's working. It's gonna be some more work and some more clearing and breakthroughs that gotta be done, but they're not supposed to have that knowledge. So the mind control is what so everything Victoria Maxima taught them, the Catholic, it went to down through the priesthood, the Catholic Church, the Islamic order, and the Jesuit order. They then created all these other entities under them, fraternal orders, daughters and sons of the Nile, daughters and sons of Isis, Scottish Rite Freemasons. The Masons was already us. We didn't get into none of that. We was just Masons. Okay, all of that knowledge came from us. But then you had the side of the imposter that came onto the land, and they ran alongside us like we was even. And we're not. The only reason they got up to the level and started blending in with us, with those who had the secret knowledge, as they call it, is because they took the power. They was the power players on the land. But that was because they stole it. And then it was given permission from the imperial family. If you do this, you come out this cave and you be our army, then we're going to grant you this, this, and this. But then once they got the power, they overtook more over and beyond and abandoned the agreements. And they started mind controlling Victoria Maxima. So on the next one, I'll have some slides ready. And I'll show y'all. Y'all can go to the gematria. There's a few of them. and put in those names and see what come up. It says mind controlled. Victoria Maxima was mind controlled with the information, the knowledge and information she taught them. So then what do? They take the information, teach all of these secret society disciples, create an organization here called Federal Bureau of Investigations, which is some bullshit. Something for them to be able to go after people, make it legal, give them a badge, and send them to go after the people of the land and do the same type of stuff. Game, mind control, game playing they doing to this day, still doing it. So they think they secret, they think they can be hidden. They think this stuff is in my DNA. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm so glad I can see right through everything. I had somebody I was dating at one time who said to me, why don't you let something get past you sometime? I wouldn't be who I am if I let something get past me sometime. No, it ain't getting past me. Sorry. If it do get past me, it wasn't meant. And if I need it, it's gonna come back around and be revealed to me, just like everything is happening right now is being revealed to me. So these mind control games that they playing is nothing new. Victoria Maxima had this, the imperial family had this knowledge and information, all this stuff floating around right now in the world, you know, ancient knowledge, sigils, and all of this stuff. They had it. They the ones put the information out. She taught Aleister Crowley. All of these people during the early and mid 1900s learned this from the first family. This was the knowledge that King David Solomon Tahuti had that they stole. Ancient knowledge. So if you think about it, where can ancient knowledge come from? Ancient people. But who do we see with everything in the last 100 years? A pale face, cave dweller. How did that happen? They stole everything they had. Imposters, the Jews, the Jesuits. So these are all of the things that's being revealed to me that I have to correct. And I know that I'm mature enough to know in my spirit that any challenge and anything that happens to me and my family is because there's a change that have to be made. These things that's happening to my son, these young federal agents that's in the Collins family, the Colonna family that came here from Columbus, Italy, that came here to serve my ancestors' empire, are now here today to try to destroy me and the imperial heirs, my son. Breach of contract. No. They didn't want me, they didn't want me to figure that one out. No, you didn't breach it. You came over here. My ancestors brought you over here from Italy, from Columbus, Italy, and gave you your name, Knights of Columbus. Named Washington, D.C. as your namesake, District of Columbia. And you can come after me and my family like this? You gotta go. Playing mind games and mind tricks on my son. Like, I don't know what y'all doing. My aunt gave y'all, my great aunt, 2 times great aunt, taught you everything you know. Can't fool me. Everybody ain't gonna see it. It ain't meant for everybody to see and everybody to know, but I know. And I'm gonna be the one to stop it all. And I'm stopping it. They done taught these youngins out here to do this stuff. What kind of sick psychosis can, I mean, you teach your children this, and it's still individuals in my own who still have maximum blood running through them that's giving these orders. The Jesuit priest, the last one was in Louisiana, hiding out. He has maximum blood in him. These, I don't understand it. You know, I don't know if it's jealous. He's sending these people by the hundreds after my son. But that's that hateful blood. That's that disagreeable blood that's running through them. I don't care what nobody say. When you get this discontentment and this hatred and this envy and this jealousy and this weird ass pedophilia and all of this homosexual shit and bestiality, having sex with animals, that is coming from a non-human being with a tail and webbed feet and eat human beings for breakfast and lunch and dinner. So of course you got a monster that was created that's doing stuff that you can't even understand why they doing it. It's not, I just come to realize it's not something that I can figure out, because you can't figure out the psychosis of a psychotic energy. The only thing I can do is stay to my course, and I'm not deviating from it. But to see some of the things that I'm coming into contact with is unthinkable. And it's being placed right at my front door, because I have to deal with it, and I have to be the one to experience it, to see that it's going on, and to be able to now know that I have the power to change things. That I can say, no, this is not going to happen. Here's the royal decree. Go and correct this. This has to stop. The violations of innocent people. I mean, they think this is cute. They think it's something. They think it's the thing to do. That's what makes it a psychosis. How do you think ganging up on people? This was federal. I'm talking about federal agents and FBI and government agents. The way they was taught to go after people, the people of the land, and anybody that uprise that look like a shining star, go and diminish their light, tear them down. And somebody told me this some years back, be careful if they owe you some money, any type of government entity owe you some money. She said, everybody I know that they owe money to end up dying. So be careful. And so I come to learn that hard lesson. They start doing sorcery on you because they don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you. And so they send out their gang stalkers to try to take your kidneys. Try to put stuff in your car so you can have a car accident. I'm just telling y'all stuff that I know, that I dealt with and I lived with, and Moore's agents was coming. I should say not Moore's, but agents for these people was coming trying to tell me I'm crazy. I'm the furthest thing from crazy. But this is what we dealing with. You dealing with a diabolical beast that set up a system of, craziness that's way off our beaten path. The average person couldn't fathom any of this. And rightfully so. They shouldn't have to deal with this. But this is what's going on in my life, so I'm talking about it, and I always been like that. Because y'all need to know, and I need to be making a note of these things, so my lineages and my children can know the lessons in this. 'Cause I don't have time to write. I I have time to write down certain things, but I'm talking about journal the way I need to journal it and keep a note of this. And it's just so much happening so fast. It's just crazy. And I have to be on my ones and twos and my P's and Q's because I'm coming into my rulership powers. And the ancestors is showing me how to rule. And that comes with a lot of responsibility. And I have to take them out. I have to guard and protect. And everything is mainly spiritual. Guarding and protecting me and my son, mainly him, because they had hundreds of them at a time. They take shifts. This is the government. This is so-called government. Well, a division of the federal government, FBI. They do this like a business, so I have to do it like a business too. I have to be, like a real job. It's just me, dealing with it every day. It's something. But I had to take this time to see everything that they be doing. So in order for me to really see it, I gotta be right in the fire with it. Cause it's absolutely crazy. These young federal agents rolling up on my son, changing his shirt off his back and putting on. They just do what they want to do. You sending him home every other day with a new shirt on, a new hat on, and glasses. A couple of times they didn't cut his eyebrows. I'm saying to myself, do they know who I am? Do they really know who I am? Do they? But this is how they've been trained to usurp people's rights and usurp somebody's human. This is human rights violations. They think they can do whatever they want to do to people. They gonna learn. It's some people you can't do what you want to do to them, and that's what they learning right now. Because I promise you, I don't let none of it. If I see it, I'm dealing with them right then and there. That's why I haven't been online. That's why I haven't been in the Telegram groups, and I'm dealing with them right where they stand every time they come. Monitor everything. Monitor what's going on with my son at every minute. Because I promise you, they gonna get dealt with. Because this is the time we in, and it's got to be now. It's because we got to hurry up and get back into our position, and we can't have all of this discontentment, wickedness, and the energies of Saturn still lingering around. They have to go. They have to go. And so the only way for that to happen, the ancestors allow things to happen so that I can see it and deal with it. And I wouldn't know that all of this goes on unless it comes to my front door. And it's the same way in my life. Now it's happening with Blake's. He's the same Moses family, Moses lineage. All of these things happened to Moses. So those in his lineage, the same type of things, our lives are going to be used as Moses' life was used. That's what, the grand synopsis of Joshua 1:3-6. It becomes more and more clear to me every day what that means. Like, wow, who knew? Shalima Parker, is this an invitee?
Hello.
Peace and love. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Did I invite you on Instagram?
No,
I'm sorry, Chris. That's my wife.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, good. I'm glad you can make it. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, we have to just monitor who's getting on the calls. You know, we've had some interesting occurrences. You have any questions? We just to let you know we're on live, so you can wait to ask them, or if you don't mind, you're more than welcome to ask them now. If you had any questions.
No, not this time. I'm just taking all the information in.
Okay. All right, perfect. So all of these things are coming to light, and it's just amazing how I'm just thankful for vision and clarity, and the ancestors, my ancestors in particular, having their hands in and on me and my child, because this is crazy. You got hundreds, and in other states added up thousands of federal agencies doing the same thing. Like right now, they following me, and my ankles are swollen because they trying to take my kidney. This is stuff I have to deal with, but I've seen worse. This, you know, that's why I don't really move me, because I've seen worse. This right here, we getting down to the last of it, down to the end of it. But I'm just sharing with y'all the experiences that I'm having and have had, because you have people that tell these stories and people don't believe them. And these people like Orlando Brown was talking about. He said in his video, go back and watch it. He said, y'all put this man in the mental hospital. Y'all niggas need to die. That's how serious it is. And that's what they do. Railroad you and make you submit to their will and do things to try to silence you. And I learned this railroading tactic when they tried to railroad me into jail so many times on frivolous stuff. I'm just looking at them like, is this serious? These people, if you're not strong in your mind, they will make you feel like you're going crazy, because the shit they do is crazy. And then people looking at you like you did something wrong. But we coming out of it. I'm just glad that, I was able to keep my sanity through all of it. And I'm still keeping my sanity because I'm stubborn. I don't let people try to play with my mind and try to tell me what I'm seeing is not real. You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. I just block them out. I just don't talk to people who don't see what I see, because nobody is gonna try to tell me I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. And that's what they'll try to do. And they have such a strong network that, you know, they'll call somebody over here and say, yeah, do number 3 on them. This how clicked up they are. So you got to be careful. Don't leave your family in these hospitals. Don't leave your family unattended, because they body snatchers. They snatching bodies now, turning them into clones and using them for whatever they want to use them for. Make money, doing it to the entertainers, doing it to the politicians. You don't hear about nobody dying no more because they snatching bodies. Just call them the body snatchers. Y'all don't believe me? Go and pull up the video. Body sleeves. They're doing that. They've been had that technology. So be careful. Know what's going on. Know the time we're in and the technology that's available to those who have the means to get it. And the only way, if you don't have the means to get it, to be able to combat this energy, you have to get in your spiritual life. That's the only thing that's going to supersede supernatural intelligence. Or, I mean, the only thing that's going to supersede artificial intelligence is supernatural intelligence. And that's in the spirit realm. And that's what I was pushed to do, not on my own recognizance. I was a push because I had to learn how to protect myself from all these happenings and things going on and life altering moments. Anybody that don't know this stuff is real, I'm here to tell you it's real. It's real. And just look at the movie Men in Black. This is what they do. Remember all these, y'all have been here. Those of y'all that have been here, you've seen all these people in black following us. It's the same thing. Federal agents wear black. The men in black. And what was he talking about? What was they talking about? Sweep is mine. Mind control. They tell you right what they doing. They tell us in the movies. This is real. This is what they doing. Now they teaching these young so-called black folks how to do it. Noble put in the chat, Jesse Jackson did that to his own son, placed him in the mental institution. Jesse Jackson did that to his own son, placed him in a mental institution to keep him quiet. Wow.
Ashe.
Go ahead and tell us, Noble. I yield.
Noble Burnsville McGill L. Bay. Jesse Jackson placed his son in a mental institution to keep him quiet from the things that he did involving the death of Martin Luther King. And it was Baba Dick Gregory that revealed this in a video. I think it's still on YouTube if they haven't pulled it down already. When Jesse was pointing in the direction, or supposedly the direction where the gunfire was coming from, it was in the wrong direction. And they told him not to wear a tie, either to wear a tie or not wear a tie. But there was people who were wearing ties or people who weren't wearing ties. And those people who were wearing ties were the ones that were supposed to get shot. I think he didn't wear a tie that day. So there's a lot of stuff that he knew about, and he was or is a CIA agent. So, you don't have to believe me. Just go and research it on YouTube. If it's still up, if it's still there, I yield.
Yeah, on that balcony photo, they show Jesse in a turtleneck. And when you read the King biographies, you find that King was a strict stickler on shirt, ties, and suits. Everybody, that's what he wanted his guys to wear. And on that particular day, everybody pointing, if you go look at the picture, everybody's pointing in one direction and Jesse pointing in another one. He's the only one with the turtleneck on as well. So Jesse, and then, I know a couple of folks that know Jesse. He an alcoholic. That's why you don't see him now, man. He can't handle it. But, the Most High got a way of extending your life and making you miserable. But I mean, that's if you believe King was trying to help the community too. It was a lot of stuff going on during that time where, we were getting sold out by all. You got a lot of people who sincere, but a lot of people sincerely wrong, and stuff that was going on back then, in my opinion, some of it was trying to, help the cause, but they made they made the Black Panthers look like they were the terrorist party, right? And so, you know, and I won't go into that, but it's just what you just cited, Noble. I concur. You know, I've read the same thing. There's also another video out there where I can't remember the gentleman's name. I'll find it, but it says that you know, he's up speaking, and then he says something to the effect of, and when the shot rang out, we knew it. And do you remember how that one go, Noble?
Yes,
Did you
sir.
see?
He said the shot. He said I moved back so he can get a clear shot.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. Yep.
And
And then he kind of caught himself, but it was too late. The toothpaste was out the tube.
and Baba Dick Gregory was revealing that one.
Yeah, that's right. That was that matter of fact, I saw that a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they finally got Baba Dick Gregory the day that he was supposed to check out of the hospital, and they gave him some kind of either a shot or something to drink, and he didn't make it out the hospital. He had a stroke. The day he was supposed to get out, they gave him a clean bill of health. He was healthy, and he didn't make it out the hospital. That was it.
That's how they do.
They got him.
That's
They
how
did
they
the
do.
same thing to brother Dr. Khalid Muhammad. They got him through it was a female that he was involved with that gave him something, and it took him out. It made him have an aneurysm, and so they have these things that you know they give people, and you don't know what it is. It's either through a shot or it's through your liquid, your water, like Muhammad Ali. They got Muhammad Ali through, you know, in between rounds, he's drinking his water, and that's what gave him the Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, whatever it was that they gave him. That was through his water to shut him up. That wasn't
They
nothing
also
natural.
did something to his yard. They was spraying. He had a big lawsuit that he won. They was coming and spraying stuff in his man's yard. It was
Yeah,
an
none of this
agent,
stuff
some
is
type of
happening
agent.
naturally. This stuff is happening through chemicals, chemical warfare, biological warfare. Same thing with these shots. You know, they have a plan, and you know, if you've already taken a shot, you know, you probably need to do something to detox, because the stuff that they're putting in these shots is not natural. You know, so I yield.
I put in the chat. I mean, I put in the Telegram chat a video of a mortician who's saying that right now 70 to 80% of the bodies that he's getting has this worm-like material that's growing inside the veins. He said about a year and a half ago, it was more like, you know, out of every 25 bodies, he get 2 or 3, but now he's saying that 70 to 80% of them got it. And he said he started calling some of the other morticians 20, 30, 40, and one of them had 50 years experience. And they're starting to see the same thing. And what's happening is it's growing in their veins, and it's also growing up. That's why the stroke rate is up and the heart attack or myocardia is up. There's a video on YouTube that's showing it's like 870 athletes who's had a heart attack on the field. That's out there on YouTube, you know. So the main thing that we as the family of Moors got to realize, this is nothing new. Because when they landed on the North American continent, these pilgrims was already using biological warfare. If you go back into history, you know how they won. Malaria blankets, smallpox blankets, right? Every 3 days, malaria and smallpox, you get One of them every 3 days and one of them every 2 days, but you get what's called dysentery. And that's where you got the chills, you shaking uncontrollably, you can't do nothing.
That
And they knew
dysentery.
it, they knew what they was giving us, right? Giving our ancestors, calling it gifts, but it was laden with this biological warfare. So it was smallpox, malaria, yellow fever, all those was designed to weaken our warriors, and it did. We were 400 million strong. Now, how the hell you gonna beat 400 million, right? But Anthony Fauci and his ancestors been doing this since the beginning. So then you follow that, right? Before that, it was the bubonic plague, Black Death, tuberculosis. Then you come to the yellow, smallpox, malaria. Then come on down to the day's time, H1N1, swine flu, avian flu, Ebola.
All man-made.
All of it is lab made, right? So what they're doing is now they began to create, like, smallpox is smallpox, yellow fever is yellow fever, but now COVID is Delta, all them variants. So now their vaccines or their medicines are called, go look the term up, smart medicines, right? So doctors now are taught to trust the medicine because it's smart medicine, as opposed to their actual ability to treat or save or heal, right? So now it's all pharmakeia, pharmaceuticals. And we all know pharmaceuticals, aspirin gives off a negative vibe just in the fact that it's synthesized, right? So you go and get something that's real, tree, leaf, bark, root, weed, stem, herb, bacteria, mold, and you synthesize it and you make it a pill. If you taking it, you possessing yourself with your own hand. That's how they doing that shit. So you taking a pill. My sister-in-law, she took the Moderna shot. Her body doing everything that Linda Blair, I'm talking about back in the 70s, the exorcist. The only thing she ain't doing is levitating and her head ain't turning all the way around, but everything else, you look at her on the phone, that shit got her really messed up, uncontrollable, involuntary movements, her legs, her arms stick straight out, her face, you could actually see it starting on the left side, her left side will fall, then it'll go to the right side, the left side will uplift, and then the right side, and then it go to her shoulders, her neck, her lips, stretch, all the whole nine, right? So, you hate it, but she did that with her own consent, right? And now she had 15 appointments last week, and she going to each one of them, and each one of them giving her a different diagnosis. So they experimenting on her. So she basically now a pin cushion, because they sticking and poking and prying and all that, So I would say don't trust nothing. I don't take nothing but the natural, right? So if it ain't something that me and my wife can do, then they can go to hell with their pills. I yield.
Ashe.
Ashe, Mighty Moore. I've been sitting up here pressing this button at least 15 times. Goodness gracious. You know I hate dead air.
Peace and love, matriarch.
Bay. Yes, I've been
Hey.
writing, sitting up here.
Did we do the prayer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've been sitting up here writing and writing and writing and writing. So many things I want to talk about. Dick Gregory, yes, I saw that and I knew that Jesse Jackson was a liar. I knew that.
Yep.
He hated the Black Panther Party. He's an agent. He's always been an agent, as Marcus Garvey has always been an agent. These people can't hide forever. They have killed people, Dick Gregory, Khalid Muhammad. They killed presidents. These are Jesuits. Make no mistake about it. These are Jesuits. They killed presidents because they wasn't sure if this president liked tea or coffee. They poisoned all the tea and all the coffee. They killed all these people. So you think you're going to have lunch with the president and everybody come up dead. Oh, it was in the food. It was no, it was poison. The Jesuits did it, and then they try to hide it and think nobody would even know about it till this day. But they killed their own pale-faced presidents and the people that supported them. They don't care. They are heartless. Oh my goodness, they're heartless people. I can't even call them human beings because a human being is a monstrosity. So says Bouvier's dictionary. Now we know we are the human. The man is mine, and that spirit. We are the spirit man on this plane. They cannot touch us. They can't get what we have because they got the rhesus monkey in their blood. That's why they get lice in their fur. They do not have hair, they have fur. This is the difference between them and us. We are the chosen. We are the chosen. And I saw this doctor who was an embalmer. Her name is Jane Ruby. You can find her on YouTube. And she put that embalmer on her show, and he showed pictures of this white substance.
Yes, that's the video I'm talking about, matriarch.
Yes, when this pandemic first came out, North Carolina, well, before the pandemic came out, but North Carolina University came up with this plan, and Fort Detrick, Maryland, codified the plan. They put a patent on the plan. This was early in the 70s. Years later, in the 90s, November 2019, Bill Gates bought the patent, him and his foundation. And then 2 months later, all this happening. But before that, they couldn't get enough people to take these SARS vaccines and whatever, monkey, rabbit, whoever they was coming up with. The people was not trying to take their pig vaccines. So they had stockpiles of vaccines. What I think they did was took the labels off and put some other labels on and sold it to the people. Who knows what's in them vials? These people are absolutely diabolical fiends. You know, on Batman, they used to say the diabolical fiend.
Human embryos make you a cannibal.
Pale-faced boys died kidney cells. That's what's in some of these vaccines. But these RFID chips, you spoke about your sister, and you know, my husband, he's been going through this for 24 years. He was one of the test subjects of this, they call it RFID chip. MK Delta, MK Ultra. They had so many names for this thing where they just sit with laptops and start pressing buttons of somebody's body figure, and the people start moving their arms and legs, and the head spins, and they hear voices in their ears, and people think that these people are crazy. No, they're being tortured right in your face. This is their silent weapon for quiet wars. Because it doesn't exist, so throw them in the insane asylum or something, because nobody knows what they're talking about. But when it started happening to them in Russia, Cuba, whatever country that these people were in, and their family, oh, it's front page news now. It's called the Havana Syndrome. They even put it on 60 Minutes. Well, when you start talking about it, nobody wants to hear, but you put it on 60 Minutes, people can hear that. That is horrible how they do things. Okay, what else did I write here? Yes, I was writing. And the pharmaceutical meaning is the maker of potions and poisons. Why would you want to trust anything that has potions and poisons? That sounds like what Empress Ninti was talking about, the black uniforms, the black clothes, witches and warlocks and stuff like that, being sneaky and diabolical and just trying to do anything to people, whoever these people are. They don't care about the position. They don't care about the person. They just want us subdued. They had us subdued for years, but now the time is up. The planets have aligned. You see a full moon in the sky, and it's like, wow, look at that. This is our time. We are not asleep at the wheel anymore. There will be no more spell casting on us. We're going to break through all their lies and put them all out for people to see. If they can't see, shame on them. The people who can see with their eyes wide open, the name of the podcast, Eyes Wide Open, Lectures by Empress Ninti. If you got an ear to hear and a brain where your mind is, and man is mind, your spirit, if you can see, then you will not be under the spell anymore. We have been dummied down thinking that Jesus rose in 3 days. And I'm like, that's not 3 days. From Friday, Saturday, Sunday is not 3 days. Because they didn't do it at 12 o'clock on the dot. So no more lies. No more, I'm going along to get along because that's what you say is, and we believe what is. No, no more. No more lies. No more lies. We need to stand and be who we are. We are the royalty of this land. We are the Imperials of this land. We are the God man and goddesses of this land. Just look at our beautiful hues. We go from the darkest to the lightest. We still have hues if it's light. A pale face does not have any hue. That's why they're trying to graft themselves back into humanity through their children. I don't know if they're going to get a soul. I think that's why they're doing it, so they can have a soul, their children, but I'm not sure if they can get a soul. That is serious. So since we don't know and we're asleep at the wheel, they think they can do anything, and they have did anything. Now I'm sitting up here watching a few movies, and one was these people in Mississippi. No, that wasn't it. The name of the movie I want to talk about is The Hurricane. Did y'all ever see The Hurricane? It's a boxer, and
Yes.
Denzel Washington played it. This man was harassed since he was 11 years old. He stopped a pedophile trying to take advantages of his young friends, and they put this boy in jail, and he had to fight. From that period on, this pale-face policy enforcer had a grudge against him till he was an older man. He got to be a world famous boxer, and he still hated him. Made all these other people line up and say you said this and say you saw this, and they just lied back and forth. And he spent 16 years, his entire life was maybe 5, 10 years without being in jail, or 20 years. His entire life had been spent behind bars, and he claimed his innocence the whole time. And this young boy who could not read or write picked up the Hurricane's book and learned the story. And these pale faces from Canada, they learned of the hurricane, and they wanted to help because they like helping people. All pale faces ain't bad. I do know that. But there are wicked, diabolical, envious, demonic people out here that will be leaving very soon. They have to take some water, like go into the abyss, or take some dirt, but they have to leave here in this land called Pangea. They have to leave everywhere because they have caused havoc everywhere they have touched. These are people who have committed crimes against humanity from the very beginning. They have to leave. Yes, they cannot be trusted. And all their family and all their cohorts, all of them have to go too, because they have lived off of the fruit of these people's horrible labor. So they cannot stay here because we want to have a peaceful plain all over. And we can do this. And we have help. And loose lips sink ships. We don't tell them everything. And I yield with that.
Ashe.
Sure.
Shame, matriarch.
Ashe. Yes, Ashe.
Did anybody check out that 10 episode series on HBO? Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. I'm gonna check that out. I'll check that out tomorrow. You told me episode 2, right?
Episode 2 was most of the Masonic
Okay.
portion.
Okay.
But you can if you wise, you can see a lot of the Masonic stuff throughout all 10 episodes.
Okay.
But that's deep, man. And there's a reason why they cancel that series. You'll see. They fear it's gonna wake too many people up too fast.
Well, they can't stop that now because I'm in South Carolina, and now the young Moors down this way, I give props to Yamez and Jeremel. Jareem L, you know, them young Moors, and you can tell they connected in spirit. And what's starting to happen now, if you, all you got to go and do is look at the basketball numbers, the football numbers, and you'll see that they've been losing viewers for the last 5 years. The viewers, the white ones are mad because they don't stand up for the flag, but now the young Moors are studying to represent and protect their flag, right? The Moorish flag. You're starting to see these young Moors now come around, especially around in my area, you know, so they can't stop it. The spirit of the Moors, the spirit of their ancestors. There's too many of us calling on them. They got to answer. The Most High got to answer. There's too many cries going out. You know, these folks now, and really you can see it because more and more they're not answering, right? But the thing is knowing how to take the not answering and make their ass pay, you know, and that's the next step that needs to be taught, you know, how to handle them when they don't answer. And every state has a law that deals with that, you know, so at this point they can't win, especially when you know who you are. And then with this, especially with this Aborigine passport and travel card, Cherokee Nation of Moors. I mean, the Empress done put it down, so now it's just a matter of standing, right, and not budging.
And they're trying to attach it to two things they're trying to attach it to is that's the critical race theory, and the other one is the sovereign nation movement. They try to attach us to those two, and you know, they're gonna be unsuccessful.
But see, that's libel, right? Like, okay, in my paperwork, if you go and look at South Carolina's Constitution, one of the most serious crime, other than, you know, capital crimes, is a crime called libel, L-I-B-E-L. It's I guess it kind of goes with what's the term when you defame somebody? Slander, right? Slander is saying something about somebody and what you said causes them harm. Libel is saying something about somebody, but also putting it in writing. And when a judge on your paperwork calls you a sovereign citizen, that judge just libeled you. Go look up the term so you'll know how to go back at them, because they just can't willy-nilly put something on the paper, right, which is going to be in their system, right, which is when you get stopped and the cop pulls up your information, a sovereign citizen, there's a shoot on site order that some of the Moors are talking about that's connected with that sovereign citizenship. So taking them to federal court for libel, or, you know, if you're doing state court, but that libel is a serious deal in South Carolina. They actually wrote it in the Constitution. So I got one magistrate that put it on paper, and I'm finna handle her ass because you can't do that. You don't know me. I told you I wasn't. I told you I was an Imperial Moor, right? And you put down sovereign citizen. Well, good. I'm glad you did that because a magistrate ain't shit no way. Right? So it's good. And all state courts are unconstitutional. I gotta make sure I get that law and I'll put it, I won't be able to do it tonight, but I'll put it in the Telegram chat. But that's a Supreme Court case. All state courts are unconstitutional. All. I didn't write it. Their predecessors wrote it. You see? So now having that in your paperwork, you know, that's just another tool for you to, you know, shut these bastards down. And then the other thing I'll say is it's more than paperwork to this fight, y'all. I mean, I know some people don't believe in the Most High. Some people don't believe in the work of the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So that's
It's all of it.
But I could tell you right now, you ain't this. You're not just a corporeal sack of protein, right? You got a spirit, and the who's talking right now? My vocal cords are moving for this body, but it's me who's giving this intention and this energy. That's the spirit, me, right? So as I see it, you know, if you feeding your body, and that's you writing and putting paperwork in and going at their ass, we got them and all that shit, that's man, that's woman, right? But this fight has been here before you got here, which means the battle lines and rules were written before you got here, right? So if you ain't feeding your spirit, you know, it's sort of like I use the example sometimes about the kids that you see on TV, you know, them Cambodian kids, impoverished, they so weak and malnourished, flies in their face, they don't have the strength to fan the flies out their eyes. They so malnourished. And I would submit to you guys tonight that that's how most men and women spirit or astral body is, malnourished. So you fighting one-sided. You know, this fight ain't just about thumb game. Most of us can fight and defend ourselves, but that's the physical fight. You know, you got to be able to uphold yourself in the plane from which you come, right? So that's the biggest part of what I'm feeding now. I'm feeding my spirit, man. Know thyself, right? And to know thyself is to know the Most High, right? Because you get to the point to where you see in the physical plane, this body is subject to the physical laws and rules, right? As above, so below, right? So then that means that the spirit me is subject to the rules of above, and the rules of above supersede those that are below. But most of us stay on the below plane, right? And we got to raise our vibration. You know, we got to purify our frequency, right? And you know, a lot of it, you know, I mean, this is the only time you see Shamu Telegram. I mean, on this Zoom, right? Because all that other stuff, you know, I never was one to follow everybody. So that's why I never had a Facebook account, IG account. What was it, MySpace or MyFace or whatever that was when it first came out, right?
Well, yeah,
I've had none of that. Why? Because I'm private. And that means I'm private. I could care less what somebody doing on Facebook. I think the new thing now is these skits, right? Everybody got little shows, right? But do you notice how much transgender? Do you notice how much wickedness? Hold on a second, please. Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second. All right. But just that wickedness and the age group of 11 to 17, go look this stat up. That's the age group that's most negatively affected by the electronic or the virtual world, right? So, so you think about that. You give a kid a phone, you put porn in his hand or her hand, and you may lock their phone, but their friends ain't locked, right? So, you know, when you allow your children to be influenced by those spirits, if you ain't working on your spirit, guess what? The other side working on, whether you believe that or not, right? So our children, you know, it's sort of like right now, I see all these other people coming. I'm talking about millions of folks coming across the border, you know, and whether you, wherever you stand on that, the Central and South Americans are, our brothers, we all come from the same, all that stuff. Okay, they Moors, we more. All right, but yet the North American Afro Moor got children, and they always are the last hired and the first fired, right? And now they bringing all these folks over that'll work for $1 and a dime a day, and they don't want to pay our kids the $7.25. So how does that affect our children? Because we ain't got no. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying for the most part, our infrastructure is not there to absorb our children. Our young people are getting slayed and annihilated and left behind because the new minority is coming over and getting those instruments, socials and birth certificates. And now they got a new class of debtors. Why? Because I ain't saying everybody credit bad, but as a population, our credit is bad. So now they carrying us as a debt or debit, and they clearing the books now. So how they doing that? They killing us. COVID, snatching our children, and it's getting to the point now where, if we don't stop this shit, if we don't build our spiritual side, they taking our children, the transgender shit right now. I've been around long enough to know what a woman look like. And you can do what you want to do, put wig, hair, nails, breasts. Nigga, I know if you a man. You understand? And I'm just gonna be honest with you. Our children haven't been around long enough to recognize.
Right.
Especially our young children. So now you think about it. I've closely monitored my 8-year-old daughter's shows. And now here's the one thing that I found out that they're doing now. They got all these animal characters. All of them talk. Then you got some of the animals that live with families, but you never see the parents, you just see the little kids. And then the animals don't have kid voices, they got men voices. Understand what I'm saying? Right. There's one called Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. And I'm sitting there looking at this thing. It's got spots on it. It's 4-legged, real kind of fat, but its color is white man's flesh. He the color of a pilgrim, right? But he got spots. But when he goes swimming, the spots come off, and he look like a naked cracker.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a cartoon, and he got a man's voice. Right? So now, how does a young mind process that? Right?
Which one is this?
That show is called Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. And then there's another one out there called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And those shows, if you go on YouTube and you look at it, the mouse has a little boy that he lives with. Then there's a dog that got a girl, and there's a cat. There's a pig that got a girl, but there's this moose that walks upright on 2 legs, wears a red sweater, and he's a man, and he likes flowers and cakes and baking and all that old bullshit.
And what's the last cartoon you said?
Give a mouse a cookie.
Give a mouse a cookie. I'm gonna look for this.
If you give a mouse a cookie.
I got an 8-year-old son, man.
Yeah. So right now, cartoons right now, I mean, you know, that's why they right now picking it in front of Disney World. They've accepted that transgender shit. The governor in Florida saying, which that's my home state, I'm from Miami, right? The governor is saying, you know, we ain't having that shit, right? Nah, we not doing that. So now they were going against him. But if you look at
That's DeSantis.
Santos, yes.
Santos, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if you look at what's going on right now, y'all, they are working black magic. They're casting spells. The music industry has taken our
Everything.
they've taken it, man. And when you look at it, when you listen to the radio, I can't remember the year, but the industry signed a agreement that all music will be played in 440 hertz. 440 hertz, right? 432, 528, those are the hertzes that Chopin and you know, those classical musical artists, they wrote their stuff in 432 and 528. Beethoven, you know, all them.
Music that makes you smart.
Right. And it also, what it does is it opens up 432 actually gives you clarity. 528 kind of deals with the DNA healing and that type stuff, right? 440 hertz is an artificial sound in nature. Nature does not recognize 440. And when you go and do the study, you'll find that 440 hertz, that's 440 cycles per second, I think is how that goes. It scrambles the mind, it scrambles the brain, because the way you listening to it, and you wonder why these young cats, like over on the other side of town, they just had a shooting in the mall. Y'all might have seen it, I don't know, but in Columbia, South Carolina, they just had a shooting over there where like 9 or 10 people got shot. Nobody died. 2 of them were critically, you know, hurt. But you know, to just listen to the lyrics of some of that bullshit that our kids listen to and our young people, you know, here's the one thing they have to recognize. You find a cut that you like, it's in 440 hertz, but you listen to it because you like it, so you listen to it over and over. That's an affirmation. Anything you listen to over and over becomes an affirmation, and your subconscious mind picks it up. Don't listen to it during the time that you're about to go to sleep, because your subconscious mind then is absorbing everything it hears, right? And listen to enough, you know, you become that person. Yeah. Don't take my word for it. The study is out there.
Facts. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Factual. So your subconscious, you're actually awake, and your conscious, you're actually asleep.
Exactly. Your body is at rest, but your mind, your subconscious mind, is in full operation mode, right? And it's also at that point, that's what they call the theta, Theta realm, or theta wave. That's when your subconscious mind is really vulnerable, because during the day when you're conscious, your subconscious mind is saying, "Up, that ain't safe. We ain't allowing that shit. We're gonna run from that, or we're gonna run to it because I know that's safe." Your subconscious mind make them decisions, right? But in theta wave, it's pretty much passive and it receives. So if you want to change yourself, or if you want to add positive characteristics, it's really easy to rewrite yourself.
Just listen to when you're sleeping.
On the way to sleep, you listening to whatever it is your affirmations are. And then when you wake up within that first hour, you listen to it. It's really easy to rewrite. And they say it takes 21 days to create a new habit, right? Now, it's more to it than that because your intention is involved as well, right? So if you intend and your mind is set to change this or add this, let's just say fear. You want to get rid of fear. You know, you those are the 2 times you listen to the affirmations. You know, I am courageous. I am, you know, I face all my, you know, those type things. And one of the things that I've done in my working on me is, you know, I don't have a virtual presence, but I do go on YouTube and I see things. And when I see affirmations, you know, I actually write them down and then I record them and then I listen to myself because my body knows my voice, right? So my subconscious mind, you know, in my intention and in my writing, I'm telling my subconscious mind, you know, this is safe because I am directing you, you know. So that's just a little of the science, but I can tell you, I said all that to say, you know, the 440 hertz, the way they have constructed these cartoons, really pay attention to how these fuck men, these old sick ass men are now the voices for child characters. You know, a child don't know how to differentiate, you know, so we gotta be diligent because they actually indoctrinating our kids with this transgender shit, you know, and this gay shit and this pedophilia and, you know, I can't say I've read a lot of the Quran. I have read it when I was younger, coming up, when Farrakhan was really in his prime. But I'm more on the Torah side. I know that side, and I know there were several times. Everybody talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, but there's several other times where when this transgender shit, men having hot affections for another man, you know, and women likewise, shit was destroyed. So, you know, begin to start looking for destruction. You wonder why California burning the fuck down all the time? Just look what's out there. All 6 of those porn sites are out there in California, right? So you wonder why it's always burning down, because that bitch is evil, you know? So I would just suggest and advise you, really be diligent on what your children are watching, even your teenagers, right? Because the black station, what is it? What's the station that the that the melanateds look at? I don't look at much TV.
BET.
Well, but but it's something else though. It's Warner something. Or Warner Brothers, is that it?
The Warner Brothers, you're talking about Warner Brothers.
The one where Cuba, it's the station that Cuba Gooding Jr. brother on.
Oh man.
But anyway, they got the black show, but now everybody got a gay sister. Everybody got a, you know, gay brother. I tell you, when I really stopped looking at TV, me growing up, one of my idols was John Shaft, right? Richard Roundtree. Richard Roundtree was his real name. And you remember the show Rock? Well, on the show Rock, Richard Roundtree was Rock's dad's brother, which made him Rock's uncle. But in this one episode, Rock Rock don't like him, you know, and so finally Rock's dad went to the brother and said, "What is going on between you and Rock?" Now, Rock's dad is talking to Shaft. Shaft was a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm talking about a grown man, right?
Yeah.
Bruh. Shaft says, "Well, you know why? He said, why? What is going on? He said, because I'm gay. I said, what the? Shaft don't know who the
I
hell he
remember that.
was.
Remember that.
Does
I remember
Shaft
that
know who he
episode.
was to us, bruh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Shaft represented the height of black man
Took
during
that
those
money.
days? You had Shaft and you had Superfly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was his name? Ron O'Neal. You had Richard Roundtree Shaft and you had Ron O'Neal Superfly, right? Half of the cats wanted to be a pimp and half of the cats wanted to be that brother who was known in the neighborhood and everybody loved. That was Shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, when Shaft said that shit, I was crushed, man. I ain't gonna even lie. He is the height of the black man. During the time when even the movie Shaft goes to Africa, he went to Africa and handled his business, right? So all I'm saying, man, is everybody who we held dear, America,
That brother my mod squad too. You remember the brother
Link,
mod squad, Link.
what was his name? Conrad. Was it
They
William?
made him gay in the last couple of movies he made.
Wow. Yeah. You look at how they did Bill, right? America's dad,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now Bill, I like the way he handled his business. Bill told him they could kiss my ass. I'm not agreeing to nothing. I ain't do shit. Everybody consented, so I don't know why the hell, they coming out. But bottom line, I don't want to get off, but the main point I'm trying to say, y'all, is they want your children. Because if they can get your children to believe in all this fake ass science, climate change, global, all that old bullshit, it's an arrogant position to think that the creature can destroy what the creator created. How the hell you gonna destroy the earth? Remember Chernobyl when they blew up that nuclear weapon over there, that nuclear bomb in Russia?
Yep.
That shit is green again. It's green over there. Now, it might be radioactive, but life is still going forward. You can't kill. How you gonna destroy the earth?
Mm-hmm.
You the creature. But anyway, I yield. Pyramid Bay, what's good, bro?
That brother Quentin. He on.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, at work. So me and Mr. Kobo, we work in the same building. We actually work on the same tour. So me and him both are at the jobs right now.
Okay, that brother Jimmy Corbett. That's who you talking about, brother?
Yes.
Okay. All right, peace and love, more.
I don't
So
think
what's
he.
okay, it's good. It's all good. What's good with you, man?
Peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, peace and love. Glad to have you and your wife on tonight. That's a beautiful thing, bro. You got your queen or your empress on. So I really want to welcome both of y'all tonight. We just pretty much, I don't know if you've been on before, but we pretty much get on, everything we talking about right now is just for the help of the folks. We don't fight for our children. Our children, until we take this shit over, we got to make sure our children got a voice in this shit because, like I said earlier, they the last hired and first fired. And they not getting, if we working, like I don't know if your wife work, but if both of y'all working, y'all got children, right? That means that at some point, there's not a lot of time because you're doing eights right? Then you get off at 5. You got a couple hours. Food got to be cooked. Baths got to be taken, right? Then you put them in the bed. So, you know, if our kids ain't getting it from us, and then they can't get jobs to get the social skills to be able to, you know, function in what we call the real world, their growth being stunted, and we can't allow that shit. You know, we just can't allow that. So if we don't fight for them, when it come time for them to fight for themselves, hell, they don't know how to do it because nobody did it. Nobody showed them. You know, so I've been talking a lot. I'm gonna shut up right now, and hopefully somebody else will come forward. Somebody who feel what I'm saying, you know, because this right now it's getting to be critical mass. I yield.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, more. Peace and love.
I got a question for Jimmy. If you was to get vetted, you know, what can you bring to the tribe? Like, what is your skills, your skill set?
Well, I have many skill sets. One of my skill sets, I'm a painter. I paint professionally. Other things I could bring to the Moors is passing down the information and the knowledge down to my children. I have one on the way. I have a 6-year-old. I can pass down the knowledge to her, and she can pass down this knowledge from generations to come.
Ashe.
Ashewa.
Ashe.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
To you and your Empress, man. That's real good. I'm glad y'all are. It's a wonderful thing, man, to be able to add to the family, man. You know, I had my daughter, and later in my life, she the only one I got, and you know, I'm thankful for the gift. That's why, in fact, that's why I'm on this journey. I had a judge to threaten to take my child, right? And at the time, she was probably like 4 years old, and I was in court fighting a traffic ticket with my wife, and the judge couldn't get past us because we kept asking for his, you know, a certified affidavit of his authority before we moved forward. He went and got the chief justice, and this pilgrim come in, and she says when we wouldn't move, she said on the record, if I was you, the magistrate who was over this was a melanated guy, right? And she said, if I was you, I would call DSS and I have them take their child. And this brother say, huh? She said, if I was you, I would call DSS and have them come and take the child. Bro, I went ballistic in that bitch. I said, I'd like to see that shit. Ain't nobody gonna take the gift God gave me. I said, in fact, and I looked at the brother, I said, and you, bro, you should have threw this shit out of court. This ain't no goddamn court. I told my wife, get your shit. We out of here. This ain't no fucking court. You gonna threaten me with the full weight of the state and your robe, and you gonna take my child? I said, let me see you do that shit. When I said that, them khaki pants and boots started coming through the door. So I know I'm in the lion's den, so I'm thinking, oh shit. So I picked up a pen. I said, what's your name and badge number? Got the first one, yours. Got the second one, the third and fourth cat that was coming in, that third guy, stop and close the door, right? So I'm saying to myself, okay, I still got a little bit of juice. Told my wife, get your shit. We out of here. She got it now. She mad. She pissed at me, right? Because I'm in there making a scene. But you know, the law says if your rights, if they come against your rights, you are to vehemently oppose it. That means get indignant, right? So I got indignant. Then I told him, I want the goddamn record. So I told my wife she got her stuff. Now she going to the car. She tired of it. I go and get I go to the counter to the clerk to get the record. The judge come out a back door. She says, I just want to let you know that according to Rule 6, we have 60 days to get you the record. Now, I'm in my feelings, but somehow the Most High or the ancestors just in that instant calmed me down. And I said, well, you know, Judge, what went on in there was me protecting me and mine. She said, duly noted, right? So I got the record. No, I paid for the record. And I left. Long story short, that's why I started learning this information. See, because now I got the record and I got the CD and all of that. I got her on the record saying that, right? What I'm saying to you is they look at us as chattel. We ain't shit. You ever wonder why a preacher and a judge wear the same robe? They go to the same store to buy them those robes, right? Because it's all ministry. When you go into the courthouse, somebody's going to be sacrificed. It's either going to be you or it's going to be the system. If you got some knowledge of the law, that's your ram in the bush. So your knowledge of the law is laid on the altar and you come out of that thing, right? But what we're doing as a tribe with the juice that the Empress has with the paperwork and the passport and all of the nationality documents, right? We are the law. Now that sounds like you crazy, but we the law. That's what we take in there. They know legal, we know law. If you allow them to bring you in the legal field, then that's a language that you don't speak. You speak naturally law. That's why they call it natural law, right? So if you allow them, and don't get me wrong, I mean, when I'm in the courtroom, I'm just like everybody else. I'm nervous and scared and all that shit, but my knowledge of the law is what actually saves me. That's why I don't look at TV. That's why LeBron James can go to hell, right? Because he rich. I'm trying to get mine, right? So I'm not gonna sit there for 3 hours, 2.5 hours, as I did as a young man, and waste all that damn time. And at the end, it ain't no remedy. You don't spend 2.5 hours sitting there watching that shit, and there's nothing but entertainment value. And if you really look at that, it's really entrainment value, because your ass getting trained to not look at what really matters. You know, all them cats, man. Will and Jada, them Serena and Venus, you know, all that shit there, man. Them folks don't bring nothing to our table. Them two sisters married to white men, and Will and Jada crazy. You look at their kids, right? So, you know, I just have, you won't find me nowhere. You know, I'm with the tribe, we with Telegram, but that's it. You won't
You
find
had
me
me
nowhere.
laughing on the Will and Jada, brother.
Huh?
You got me laughing on the Will and Jada.
They crazy as hell, man. They
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
they son talking about cutting his junk off, bruh. He said
Nuts.
he don't need it. He said he don't need it. It don't define me.
Mm.
So I asked my wife, let me see your Facebook account. I want to find him and tell him, go and cut it off, dog. I want to see you cut it off. You see, because none of them will do it. Bruce Jenner called himself Caitlyn. I'll call you Caitlyn if you cut it off.
Mm.
They ain't fully into it. It's all an act. He getting paid so much money to do that shit. It's about money. He was a broke bastard. Them Kardashians had the money. Bruce just had trophies from the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't saying he was broke, but he wasn't breaded up like them girls. Right? You forgot about Bruce Jenner until he started messing with them Kardashians.
Yeah.
Them girls done messed up brothers and Nida Pilgrim. They ran his ass to panics.
Damn.
Whoa. I had to chime in on that one.
Hey, Sister Quinn, am I lying?
No, not at all.
Hey, look, we just, when you look at the climate right now, if you don't know that all that's going on is spiritual, then you in the wrong verse, because that virtual verse, I think my man coming out with what's called metaverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. It's another virtual world. We don't live in that shit. We live in reality. And see how they really messing up the younger people, right? How they messing up the younger people is they doing it virtually, right? So I asked my nephew, if I let you look at how to swim for 6 months, you looking at it online, and I take you out to the middle of the lake and I push you out that damn boat,
His ass gonna drown.
will you be able to swim?
Nope.
He said, I said, I'm giving you 6 months now. He said, well, no, I don't think so, Unc. I said, you damn right, because you got to get wet, dude.
Got some
Right?
common sense.
It's common sense, man. Right? So if you ain't getting wet, all you doing is virtually swimming. Right? And the reason I had that conversation is because I was driving a 5-speed, and he said, man, I use, when I'm playing my video games, that's what I drive, and I drive in manual. I pulled up. All right, get out and get under the wheel, bro.
Oh, shit. You didn't.
I said, no, get under the wheel. I got out, got in the passenger seat. Bro,
You can
look,
mess your clutch up.
listen, bro. I said, hold on, let's put it in first. I put it in for him. I said, on the left, that's the clutch. On the right, that's the gas, right? He pushing the clutch. I put it in first. After he did that about 4 times, I said, man, get out. Right? I got in the driver's seat and I told him, I say, listen, bro, your ass got to get wet. He said, I know you told me that. I said, that's what this is, bro. You playing games virtually, but when it comes time to have to do this shit for real, you can't do it. That's just a small lesson to tell you.
It's a damn good lesson.
We can't let our kids get caught up in virtual, man.
Yeah.
You know, we just can't, because everybody else live in the real world, right? Billy, Bobby, and Chad, I mean, I know they got Facebook and shit too. And I don't care about Billy, Bobby, and Chad. I'm thinking about Jareem, Jamal, you know what I'm saying, and Malik.
Mm-hmm.
See, them cats, right? That we can't allow them to just get lost in that virtual world, man, because metaverse creating all kind of shit, and they paying big for you to get hooked on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'll say to the tribe tonight, right now, well, you look at what's happening with the Empress's son, right? You got to remember they are praying, and they got ministries. If you go back into the old documents, you'll see that the governments and their agents were called ministers and ministries, right? Respectively. And when you look and see that, you know that it's all ministry, and it's all about jurisdiction. And that jurisdiction is as the above and the so below.
Below.
They are the lords of the below, and you are the Lord of the above. But if you allow the Lord of the below to pull you in his realm or his reality, then you get what comes with his world.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we doing all this paperwork and creating these counter deeds, right? Go look that word up. Definitely look that word up. Those of you who've never been on here, hear me say this. Counter deed. Go look up that word, because that's what you're putting on the record, right? A counter deed is a secret writing that alters, destroys, or invalidates a public record. Now, that definition just told you every public record that they got on you: birth certificate, marriage license, social security card, all those. If you create a counter deed to each one of those, right, and you put that on the record, you just destroy, you just annihilate the public document, and now yours is on the record. You see?
Sorry, Islam, well, could you do that again?
Okay, what do you want me to?
You went out. You said a counter deed is what you put on the record. It alters, destroys and your voice started going out.
Yeah, it alters, it invalidates, or it destroys a public document or deed, right? So when you do your counter deed, you know, and when I do anything, I always have a definition page, and I do just like they say: for the purposes of this record, the following definitions will mean, and then I give the colon, and then I put the definitions down. Right? So counter deed, that's one that's on there. Countermand, that's another one that's on there. You see, private, that's heavy. Go look that up. And what I do is I always look them up in etymology online, because they take you all the way back to the 1500s. But that counter deed is strong. If you can, let me see if I can put it in the chat. I'm gonna give y'all hold on. I'm gonna put something in the chat if I can find it right quick. Hold on.
So it's counter deed, countermand, and private.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I found it. I'm fixing to put this in the chat right quick. Listen, go read this, y'all. Go and read it, that document, and just go through it. It'll change the way you think and the way you approach it. Do y'all see it in the chat? Did it come up?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Counterdeed.com.
Yeah.
HTTPS counterdeed.com. Okay. /counterdeeds.
That's good info right there.
Okay.
At that, I'm gonna yield, y'all. My baby been knocking on the door. She want me to go and kiss her and put her to bed. So I'm gonna get off at this point.
All right, peace and love. Be safe. Stay safe, brother.
Yes, sir. I definitely will. It's been a pleasure to talk with y'all tonight. And also to the brother and his queen, you know, when y'all get ready to join or want to get more information, you know, let Quentin know, you know, and then we'll do the vetting. But I would advise you to go and look at the website. Have you guys, Jimmy, have you and your wife looked at the website?
Yes, we have.
Okay, look, before y'all, if you decide, yeah, I wanna join that tribe, hey man, go ahead now and take the time and go through it, right? Because that's where your questions are gonna come from. And the way the Empress got it set, it ain't a boring read, right? It's she got videos, all kind of stuff on that, man, for you to look at and read and stuff. But go ahead on and get the knowledge, and then whenever it comes time to vet it, you know, you pretty much, you know, it ain't about being perfect. You ain't got to get 100 on the test. It's just, you know, you want to know how the Empress think, and then once you know how she think and them laws of Ninety that's on the site, and being able to go forward, standing on your square when the adversary come at you, because you know they coming, bro. They come to the quiet people in the land, right? That's how they do it. Because if you've never been in trouble, that sheriff, I'm learning that the sheriff is the one who writes a bond and calls you a criminal. And when they put that criminal label on you, they put you in their system. Once you're in that system, right, then you're considered a sinner who needs to be saved. So when you go to court, you're begging the judge for grace, right? But if you really know your position, you know you're going into court to give grace. And this is your grace period while I'm in here, right? But we go in there accepting grace. How do we do that? Pleading. Not finna plead with a crook. All y'all practicing criminals in this bitch. So at that, I yield. I love y'all. It's been real, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next Sunday.
All right, brother.
Okay. Hey, look, Quentin,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
in your next week, man, in your spare time, give me a call.
All right.
Okay. All right, Moors and Moabites, y'all have a wonderful peace, prosperity, love, sight, clarity, ancestral protection, health, wealth, wellness to you and your families.
Islam. Peace and love, more.
Peace and
I
love.
say.
Ashe. Ashe.
All right. I got to get back on the floor. So I'm gonna go to, I don't know, Mr. Kobo. You know, he's gonna do his thing with y'all. I don't know what's what. So I'm gonna
Peace and
say
love,
peace and
more.
love to all the Moors, Moabites. I'll speak to y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Be safe.
Peace and love.
Peace
All
and
right,
love.
thank you, AAA. All right, y'all.
I got that. Does anybody else have? Oh, wow. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up?
I was just gonna comment on the Jesse Jackson, all of those folks were in the Boule. And that's the one thing that I realized is that even in government, see, these people have an obligation first to their order, whatever order they are part of. So it doesn't matter if they work for a certain, governmental entity or whatnot. If the higher up in that order calls them or gives them an order, they have to follow it. So that overrides their charter, their oath, all of that. So they took the oath with their brotherhoods and sisterhoods, fraternal orders or Jesuit order, Catholic order, Islamic order. They took that oath under the penalty of death. So that means that they're going to take that. They're going to carry out that duty before they carry out any others. So that is most likely what happened in the Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson situation. Ashe, I yield.
Ashua.
Shay.
And that's the Boule. That's like the top overall of the secret society, secret orders. That's the first one. So those that are in the Boule are over all of these other ones that came along recently, like the Scottish Rite Freemasons and all of these other lodges. Those are, the real Masons, Asiatics, who have they ended up coming under the Jesuit priesthood, but the Boule existed prior to the Jesuits taking power. Ashe, family. Y'all awfully quiet. Y'all awfully quiet tonight. Where's Vicky?
Ashe. Empress
She's
Minty.
listening. She's listening in. Look like. Yeah, she's listening in on YouTube.
Who's D Gray? DEE Gray.
We need to vet her. Would you like to be vetted, D Gray, into the tribe? I never asked her that. This is the second call she's been on.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do it now or do it early next Sunday?
Early next Sunday.
Okay. Will do. So D Gray is set to be vetted next Sunday.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, write down, your questions for the tribe, and the tribe is going to ask you questions, sort of like we did earlier with Jimmy. Ashe. Matriarch, you don't have anything to say?
Yeah.
You was on. Okay.
I wanted to talk about the Boule.
Oh, okay.
Is there such thing as so-called white Boule and so-called black Boule?
No. The Boule is the Asiatics. That is their order, their high society order of the Boule of the Asiatics. That's Oprah Winfrey, the highest, Danny Glover, Congresswoman
1%,
Maxine Waters.
1%ers, rich people.
Well, I wouldn't consider them rich.
Well,
Oprah, maybe,
yeah.
but not all of them. Beyonce, her family, most of them came out of Louisiana. It's real thick in Louisiana. See, you can't make a bill. You can't get to that $1 billion level unless you plugged into now. Well, before we're changing things, that's the way it was. You have to be connected to some kind of order. Um, you know, be willing to sacrifice something. But they don't let you into these governmental jobs, courts, entertainment industry, unless you in the order. And if you're not in the order, they're gonna initiate you into into their world. And you're gonna have to do certain things to get into their world if you're not already grown up with it. See, these people start their children in it at 13, 14, 15, stuff like that. And it's like a family thing. But it wasn't wicked. It wasn't a thing of wickedness. It was the 13 original tribes having their knowledge. Mainly the first family had a lot of knowledge of the occult things or magic or things that were used to maintain power and order. It was just the knowledge that they had. And it wasn't meant for the masses because the masses were not the ruling class. You follow me? So that's what that was about. But it wasn't wicked the way they have made it. Any knowledge and information can be used for good or bad. It's the intent behind it. And the intent that has been behind it the last 100 years is purely wicked. That's not how it started. Ashe, I yield.
Well, I just came back and I kind of put it in the chat too quick. But that link that I gave, they coming from a religious perspective, and I don't necessarily agree with all that they say on that. So what I'm saying to y'all is, take that like fish, eat the meat and spit out the bones. What's for you, keep it. What's not, spit it out. But I just put it in there just so you could get the information. So, you can disregard that religious side of it. Okay, good night to all of y'all. I just wanted to make sure I said that before I went away.
I wanted to this is nobody, this Victorious V. I wanted to talk about the boule. If you want to study more deeply about what they are and how they come into existence, is Steve Coakley. He did a whole entire breakdown and lecture on who they are, what they represent, their intent, and everything. His name is Steve Cloakley. If you want to know more about how he broke the code and reveal who they were.
Yes, ma'am, he did. Steve Coakley, he came to Baltimore. I saw him in person live. He had so many documents, and he tried to go through every last one of them. He was talking so fast, but I really enjoyed him. He opened up my mind to the boule and who they really are, and how they take all the young that are very impressionable and give them scholarships and make them work for whatever organization that they want them to work for, so they can be, like the Empress says, they have many, many, many different positions. So if they call on you, then it's an order, it has to get done.
Period.
Yes. I understand that. Thank you, sister.
I yield.
Yeah, so what I've discovered in the last 100 years, how the Jesuits have changed things and forced them. See, they put spells out. Uh, the spells and the curses these Jesuits put out were put out. It's like they had a hatred for us because, like I was saying before, Victoria Maxima put curses and spells on them after she realized they were, getting too out of control and wicked. And she didn't want them to reproduce. So she confined them to priesthood and they had to stay in the monasteries and couldn't have sex with women or reproduce children or none of that. So in their bitterness is where they is why they perpetuated these, vile acts, and that's where all of that comes from. And they made the Boule and all those that came under their rule do all of these emasculating things, like they make men wear dresses in the movies and our men, you see, because of the animus they have towards what has been done to them. And it's like they can't really enjoy their life. They had to be confined. So the way they got enjoyment is by making people do, bend to their will and control. Everything is about controlling people and making our men emasculated. I yield.
Masters of manipulation.
Shay.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm gathering. Up to it. If it doesn't matter either. If a Mason comes and tells the secret code, secret passage to any woman in any office, I've seen it done. She don't get up just like a robot, jump out of that chair and go do whatever they ask her to do. Because only they know the degrees, so only a certain Mason is going to know a certain level of a Mason is going to know this passage and that passage. So they know the level they are on. So if that passage is something a higher rank, well, the men anyway are put up above the women. But if that passage that was said is a higher rank or whatever they said, it would indicate to that woman what rank that man is in the order. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. We couldn't get a word in edgewise with this lady, or we were asking her to get something from the district attorney's office, It was a group of us, and one of the nobles uh, who was in the tribe, he came out from the back, leaned over, went to the counter, leaned over, told her something, and she jumped out of that chair. And the whole while we had been sitting there for like 30 minutes, she would not budge on anything we was asking her to do until he came and, said whatever he said in her ear. She jumped out of that seat so fast and went and got the card or whatever it was. I think we were trying to get contact information for a certain person within that office, and she was not budging. And I thought it was truly amazing that after a few words, now she's jumping. Came right back with whatever it was. And that was that. So it's definitely two worlds out here. The secret world and well, three. Secret world, the fantasy world on TV, and then real life. Ashe family.
Ashewa.
Any other subjects, current events going on?
Empress
Anything
Niti,
y'all
wouldn't
want?
that be private and public?
What's that?
The secret worlds.
Yeah, could be considered as that. The private, the secret societies, yeah, private. But not if they're incorporated. Most of them are incorporated, surprisingly. Those fraternal orders and all of those, they incorporated with EIN numbers, so that's not private.
Gratitude.
Yes, ma'am. So we're coming out of all of that, that era and that energy. Fallen angel really messed us up. And she was a fallen angel because, like I'm saying, she didn't go back to her post. We have lost our connection. So in those times, well, 100 years ago, our families, they had a divine connection. It's just like now that we getting everything back, and I know I'm getting a lot of my senses back and my powers back, the divine connection back. This is the same way they had. So they knew, and they had the power of divination. And they were priests and priestesses also, and just by nature, and practicing shamanism, and they did study the stars and astrology. So they knew that Victoria Maxima had to leave at a certain time, and everything is a contract and agreement. So you cannot leave this earthly plane unless you agree to it. That may sound surprising, but somewhere along the line, you made the agreement and you said, the people that leave here, somewhere along the line, they agreed to that contract. I was talking to one of the nobles from New York recently, and he was telling me that he went into a coma and he took a trip and he traveled the astral plane. One of his elders, pulled him by the hand and was taking him to these different places. And he asked him, one of the last things he asked him was, do you want to stay here? What do you want? He said the moment he thought about his daughter, they pushed him back into his body. Because see, it's all about the agreement. It's all about your agreement. You have full control over your life and your destiny, and it's all a matter of consciousness. So if you agree and want to stay or want to go, either way, you can do that. If you lay down and say, I'm ready to go. It happened to me one time. I was under severe attack at that time. Now that I know what spiritual attacks are, I know that I was under spiritual attack. And I just laid there and I was just so distraught and tired and stressed out. And I laid there and I was like, I just want to die. In that moment, I felt my spirit leaving my body, and I felt a whole bunch of what felt like tiny feet stumping on my chest. And somebody told me later that those were, divine spirits, angels putting my spirit back into my body. But in that moment that I said, I'm just ready to die, I felt myself doing just that. So I know for a fact I know for it to be true, that is our agreement. If it is by agreement that we leave here, it is by agreement that we come here, and we have a contract to fulfill. And this is the whole life path journey, is finding out and remembering what that contract is exactly. What did I agree to? That's the part I want to correct. I want to see if I can collectively, we can put out into the universe a invocation for us to remember when we come here exactly what we're supposed to do, instead of being lost in the wilderness. I don't know. Maybe those are the things that has to happen. But hopefully it doesn't have to keep happening, because there's a lot of time that has to be wasted to get to that point of remembering. Maybe as the generations go on, they'll start remembering a lot sooner. But for me, let's just cut to the chase. I don't want to have to go through this again, all of these different trials and tribulations, just to remember why I came here. Well, that's just me. Maybe it has to happen that way. Ashe, what do y'all think?
Islam's Empress, I put in the telegram somewhere some time ago that we are here to get it right this time, so we can make sure this never happens again, because we are doing this for the next 7 generations. So I know exactly what you're saying. And they should come here as indigos, knowing and seeing and fully conscious. Ashe.
Ashe, that would be so wonderful if they can get right to they never deviating from their life path. You know what I'm saying? Just work solely on getting to it.
Yes.
That will put us a lot further ahead.
Okay.
Okay, family. Y'all awfully quiet tonight. I think I'll be putting y'all to sleep.
No.
No, I got a lot of I've been studying my astrology chart all day, and just digging a little deeper. Like when you start to focus on your passions and the things that build you and work on self-mastery, accepting my purpose is becoming easier. Accepting my gifts are becoming easier because I'm looking at it in my chart. I'm discovering things in my chart. It's confirming things. It's It's like like when you're driving on the road and your front windshield, like I had to studying is defrosting my windshield. You know what I mean? It was cloudy before. Now I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling and smelling. Like all my senses are up. I don't understand what's going on. It's like
Your mic is muted.
Sister Vicky, Noblesse Vicky, your mic is muted. If you're still talking, we can't hear you.
So what happened? Vicky was talking.
Yes, she was going on and just went out.
Vicky, you're muted. Unmute your phone. Unmute your microphone. Okay. Well, if that's all we have for tonight, I don't want to have too much dead sound here in the call.
Yes.
I am working towards coming on during the week so we don't have to be on so late on Sunday. I know some have to get up and do things. So for now, I'm going to end the call. It has been another awesome Imperial lecture. Thank you so much, Tribe and guests. We will see you here again next Sunday around the hour of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, peace and love. Ashe.
Ashe, peace and love, Empress Nancy. Thank you very
Shalom.
much. I really enjoyed the program or the meeting or the lecture.
You're welcome, matriarch. Peace and love, D. Gray. Peace and love, Jareen. Peace and love, Jimmy Corbett. Peace and love, Victorious V. Peace and love. I'm trying to open this up. Shalima, thank you for tuning in.
Peace and love. Thanks for having me here. If you can
Yes.
hear me, I can barely hear anything. I'm actually driving home. I'm having trouble with this phone. I can't even really hear you guys. Peace and love. Thank you for everything.
Ashe, you're welcome. Okay. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace and